So the other day, I got a comment on a camera rig video that I made that just simply said, "This is too hard for a beginner." And I thought on that for a bit because that video was made when I was first exploring my camera journey, when I was first building rigs, and I myself was a beginner, but maybe didn't know how to talk to beginners. So in today's video, we're gonna be breaking down this, not a gear tour, not talking about, the rig itself, what I use, but today we're talking about the why behind camera rigs. What's going on, guys? So today the plan is to make complex camera rigs seem very, very simple to you, because in all actuality, they're huge, they're flashy, but each piece solves a general purpose, and we are going to make you a master at solving problems. So this video is going to be aimed at beginners or people who want to learn more about their craft, about the camera rigs, the tools we use. This video is for you. And if you are a professional watching me and you already know all of this stuff, welcome to the video, welcome to the channel. It's good to see you. Okay, so let's talk about the why. This thing is a lot. Why do you even want to build a camera rig? Oof, goodness. So the reason to build rigs for me is to solve problems. Each camera comes with its quirk, things it can do great, things that it does not so well, but that is what I use camera rigs to solve. I also use camera rigs to add a lot of weight to my setup. So if you want some very natural handheld movement and your camera is just too light or it doesn't have good image stabilization, making a camera rig can get you some really, really incredible handheld shots. In fact, for the last 2 years, this is what I've been using to get all of my handheld shots. Another reason to build out a rig may simply be the look. This is a simple Blackmagic camera, but the look of this camera rig is kind of borderline excessive. But this looks impressive to new clients. This tells people, hey, I take my job seriously. I've invested a lot to make my job easier for myself, and I take you seriously. So when I've worked with new clients, I've showed up with a full built out rig, and you always get compliments on it. But I am well beyond the point in my life where the look of the rig matters. I am function over form every single time. Okay, so let's break down what I actually have here. This thing looks kind of complex, but we're gonna make this really, really easy for you. So here I have the Blackmagic Pocket 6K cinema camera. The Blackmagic comes with a few little quirks. It has an awkward shape, it has no built-in NDs, it has terrible battery life, and the screen does not articulate. So when I built this, those were problems that I was looking to solve. Okay, so first off, every camera rig is usually built around a camera cage. There are tons of brands that make camera cages. To name a few: SmallRig, Tilta, Condor Blue. I have here is the Tilta cage for the Blackmagic Pocket 6K, but cages are just used to give your camera more support options, more versatility, and it helps you build up on the initial core of the camera. SmallRig cages are probably the most universal. They work with literally everything. They have universal mounts for just about everything. Tilta and Condor Blue are a little bit more niche. And as I said, there are a ton of companies that make cages. After I focus on a cage, I go for a top handle. Top handle is my main point of contact with my camera. I am always gripping my camera by a top handle. So that is literally the next step to building out my cage. I do cage, top handle, and then after I've attached my top handle, I usually go directly for a monitor. So here, I have my monitor attached to my top handle. Because this screen does not articulate, because I can barely see it from time to time, I like to have what I'm viewing front and center in my face every single time. I also put my monitors on a articulating arm that can be adjusted. That way you can move it up and out of the way. That way you can adjust it any way you like. After top handles, monitors, and cages, I find myself adding side handles for gripping this thing. Picking this up is much easier when you have side handles. Me personally, when I'm building out a rig, the more points of contact, the better. So I love side handles as well as I love top handles. After you've done a cage, a top handle, a monitor, and your side handles, I like to add a microphone. Currently, there is a spot for this microphone, but it is recording me right now. but I love to have a versatile shotgun mic. That way I can just get some general audio for what I may be recording, because usually if I'm building something like this, it can be a lot of run and gun stuff, so I don't know what I'm getting into, but having good audio is key. Now, with all of that in mind, those same elements are things I use in every camera setup. I use cages, I use top handles, monitors, audio. Those are the most simplistic parts of a rig. That is where you start. That is pretty much the core necessities if you want to label them that. But that is the first thing that helps me with a camera rig. Now, this is where people get caught up. These are the flashy bits of the rig. First off, the matte box. The matte box is one of the most flashy parts of the camera rig. This is usually what gets people's attention. This is the thing that gets people to walk up to you and be like, "Oh, are you filming a movie?" Because they see the matte box and they just want to pay you more money. Now, aside of making you look more professional, matte boxes have their purposes. Matte boxes are usually used to block out the sunlight. Matte boxes are usually used to add in variable NDs, different filters. It augments your image right before it hits your camera sensor. So I love using matte boxes. I love using Pro Mist filters. I love using variable NDs in them. It just works. And the great thing is they're super easy to add and remove. They're adaptable to like most every lens, and they are getting cheaper. This one I have here is kind of actually expensive, but this is my personal favorite. This is the Polar Pro Basecamp. If you haven't got a matte box yet, the Polar Pro Basecamp is great, but if you already have an existing system, you might want to go with something else. After you've added a matte box, I tend to go with a focus wheel. The focus wheel is there to make pulling focus a lot easier, because once you start adding all of this stuff to your camera, getting to your focus ring becomes increasingly difficult, and you want to make that as easy as possible. Here I have the Tilta Focus Mini. It is $100. It is really, really cool and really, really good, but you can go with anything as long as it helps you pull focus. Now, most of all of this is powered by the battery. This is a V-mount battery. V-mount batteries are great for powering literally everything, and for being easily removable, easily swappable, and you can just go on about your day. These things last forever, and I wish I had known about them sooner. Most rigs are powered by a V-mount battery. This thing is responsible for powering the camera, the monitor, all of your little accessories. It actually hooks to an adapter plate. The plate holds the V-mount battery, and the battery, of course, is just removable. So you can do whatever you want to with this thing. You can swap it out for more, and you can use it to hot swap during shoots. If you are powering any kind of rig or anything that has multiple things that draw power, V-mount batteries are great. Or if you just want to power your camera, you can power your camera for like 8 hours, like whole wedding day on one V-mount battery. It's great. If you are wanting to be super over the top, like me, get yourself a wireless transmitter. These are usually the final touches to the rig. This is the spice that you add onto your rig. Wireless transmitters are great if somebody needs to view your footage while you're capturing it, or if you have a focus puller, because a rig built out like this, you need to be focusing on composing your shot. So if you can have somebody pull focus from you using a wireless transmitter, this thing is the go-to. I recently had one sent to me. I'm currently testing it out, but man, I actually love having a wireless transmitter on me. They can be very expensive because they are one of those things that are like a non-necessity, but once you use one, you definitely want to keep using it going forward. So after you have everything that you can possibly fit on a camera, the base plate and the rails are just there to hold everything. 15mm rods, these are 12-inch or 16-inch 15mm rods. They are great for just keeping the battery adapter for the V-mount, holding your follow focus ring. Rods are universal, they're great. Things adapt to the rod, so you can actually start putting on shoulder kits. You can actually put on viewfinders if you wanted to get more and more extensive. Everything is held together neat and tightly by your base plates, rods, and then built upon that. But that is pretty much it. Like, this thing is fully demystified. If you want to just look at this, you can be like, oh, he has a side handle for handling, a top handle for handling, a side handle for handling. Cut. But this thing is completely demystified. Like, you have the matte box, you know what it does, you know why it's there. Focus rings, side handle, top handle, battery, monitors. Everything is very, very general. But if you're wanting to build out a rig, the important thing is to identify the areas your camera struggles in. Don't just go out and buy rigs because somebody told you to. You don't need all of this to get your job done, but having all of this makes my job a lot easier. But once you understand the core foundations of rig building, rig culture, all of the gearheads and gear things, you'll understand what the core essentials are and what you need to get your job done. Because now I don't really use rigs like this anymore. I do occasionally, but I've been simplifying my life a lot. And there are certain things this rig offers that are great, and there are certain things that are not for me anymore. But the important takeaway is cameras are tools to help you get your job done. And if you can make the job easier on yourself, on your client, I would 100% do so. So if you want to build a rig like this, I can make more videos. I have older videos breaking down this thing piece by piece. But yeah, if that's something you guys want to see more in the future, let me know. Comment down below and let me know your thoughts. But with that all being said, that's all I have for you today, guys. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you loved it, consider subscribing, because I'm bringing you more content just like this every week. So you guys stay safe, you're loved, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.